see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining in.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 865 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter free. I'm Brian, your host, and it's December 1st, 2025. This morning I'm enjoying a fresh cup of FTO Blonde Espresso from foodforestfarms.com because life's too short for shitty coffee. At Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using a clean stream air roaster. More than just a customer, your family. Get 10% off with code LOTS10, and shipping is always free. That's LOTS10, and shipping is always free. While you're there, check out the C4 Club for even more awesome perks. Today, we've got another packed show. It's a full 2-week recap with missing the show yesterday. We finally got our material delivery into the cabin. Then, unfortunately, I lost my father and ended up with an entire road trip of chaos following that. So we'll talk about it. There was good, there was bad, there was in between, and we'll get all catched up. So grab your coffee and smash the like button. Let's get started. Good morning. Good morning. How we doing today? Monday. It's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks since we talked last, and had a lot happen in between. Get a sip of coffee and let's get started a bit. Hunter, good morning over on Twitch. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Sorry for anybody that tuned in last week and there was no show. I apologize for that. And anybody that was listening that was wondering where the last show was, I'll get caught up today. So let's hit the Bitcoin price right off the bat. Had guesses for last week, and Bitcoin price has kind of been all over the place since then, up and down and way down, and then up a little bit, and looks like after last night down again. But right now, let's see what the Bitcoin price is. December 1st, 2025. We got $86,270 per Bitcoin. That's $86,270 per Bitcoin. Let's go back to those guesses from a few weeks ago. I had $109,123. That was not even close. I was hoping for a big pop. I don't think that was even close anywhere during the 2 weeks. So I was unfortunately not anywhere in the ballpark. After that, we had John Palmer, 123,456. John was even worse than I am. I don't know. I think he was doing that a little tongue in cheek, hoping for a big old pop up to the 120s. And so am I, really, that and beyond. A bunch of guesses in between there and down to the 86. We got Canadian Farmstead in at 100,100. Chris Dixon, 98,765. Pip threw in 198,178 and 34 cents. Pip always very exact with his guesses. Blueberry, Texas, over in Telegram group, 96,484. Palm Tree in with his first guess in the game. We had 95,000. Sean over there in Telegram group, and Carson. Sean was in at 91,500, and Carson. If we played Price is Right rules, and we did closest without going over, Carson would have ended up being right with his guess at 60,000. I think there would have been a lot of people scrambling to find some dry powder and throw some buys in if we hit 60,000 or anywhere on the way down there. But the winner, again, 2 weeks in a row, I guess two games in a row, I guess isn't 2 weeks in a row, but 2 shows in a row. Winner came in as Scrambling's guess of 89,800. 89,800. He was again about 3,500 off. I think that's if I recall right, that's about where he was at last time he won. So if you want to get in on the Bitcoin price guess game, you can head over to the Telegram chat at t.me/LotsChat. That's t.me/LotsChat. There'll be a pinned post there. If you hit the pinned post, just reply to that and let us know what your guess is for the Bitcoin price next Monday morning, right around 6 o'clock when we start the show. then we will see who wins. You know who wins? You know what you win? You win nothing. We win nothing. We might do a Bitcoin guess game at some point here for a prize. I'm not sure what kind of prize, but I'm sure there's something laying around here that we could give away, Bitcoin related. But congratulations to Scrambling 89,800, got him the win. So feel free to join us over Telegram group. We have a lot of fun over there. Again, that's t.me. Type it in your browser if you don't have the app. t.me/LotsChat. And if you are on Telegram already, just search Lots Chat and request to join the group. Coffee's good. Coffee's good. I had traveled with it when we went out to New York this last week, and man, I can't get away from the Food Forest Farms coffee. If I try to drink anything else, even traveling, gas station coffee, I won't even buy it. I just go ahead and buy a soda instead. So, but anyway, let's see. Last Monday or 2 Mondays ago, we had an exciting day actually, and then things kind of took a turn. But Monday after the show, when the lumberyard opened, I was trying to. It had been almost 5 weeks since I had ordered our windows and doors, and I wanted to call and check on them if they were in, see about delivery. The door or the road to get back to the cabin was fairly dry. I had been out there and checked it over the weekend. Prior to that, it was dry. I could drive in and out. I thought a delivery truck was easily going to be able to drive in or out. I mean, really any type of delivery truck. And so I was calling to check in on the windows and doors, and at the same time we were going to have a bunch of lumber delivered when that arrived for the framing out the walls. And so I had that order ready to put in as soon as the windows and doors were there, and then everything could get delivered at once. So I called after the show last Monday, and excuse me 1 minute, guys. Got to take care of something real quick. Morning, Rachel. Thanks for stopping in. I see you popping in there while I was off screen. But anyway, I called the lumber store where we ordered the windows and doors, and they had just come in, and Rewild Their Life asked if I had a show last Monday. I did not have a show last Monday. I was out of town, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. But they called, and the windows and doors had come in. I looked at the weather forecast, and Tuesday night into Wednesday was supposed to start raining. We were supposed to get a significant amount of rain, and I was pretty sure that with that rain, we wouldn't be able to get a delivery truck in and out of the bare clay hills, because we still haven't gotten the chert down. That's in the process, actually. Haven't got a firm update on it, but it looks like that's getting closer, so that's good. So I was talking to the guy at the lumber store. I said, hey, is there any way that we could get those windows and doors, and then 300 pieces of 2x6x12 and 30 pieces of 2x4x12? Can we get that delivered tomorrow? Is there any way before the rain you could get that loaded in and schedule delivery? And I didn't think there was any way in 24-hour turnaround that they were gonna be able to do that. But luckily enough, they didn't have a whole lot on the schedule, on the delivery schedule. They were able to work it out that the next day, so Tuesday mid-morning, we were going to get a delivery. We were going to get our windows, doors, and framing lumber. And I was pretty sure we were going to make it before the rain. So I was excited about that, get it in. And so we planned on that. And I was going to do it by myself. I was going to, they were going to be able to unload it with a little forklift, the kind that ride around on the back of the trucks, and get that up to the top of the hill, just talking to them, and logistically we felt that we were going to be able to get it to the top of the hill. And then I needed to move it from wherever he could drop it into our new soft-sided garage, so like the canvas garage that we put up, the second one that we put up actually, to keep it dry because it's not pressure treated for the framing lumber. And that was basically the only dry spot to put it. So I was planning on a long day on Tuesday, meeting the guy out there, and then slowly moving 330 pieces of lumber into the dry, and then putting the windows and doors under cover also. So had that all set up and kind of going about my day on Monday. And lo and behold, I got a call that evening from my mom, and my father had passed away. It was a kind of, it was expected. My dad's been sick. I don't talk about family much on the show. It wasn't their choice for me to do a podcast. And so I kind of respect their privacy and try to keep that off the show quite a bit. But my dad had been sick for quite a while, like years, not deathly ill by any means for that long, but with living as far away as I did, we've kind of gone through the motions of understanding that every time we see each other, it would likely be the last. Really, Corey's family has got me to the point where, you realize that anytime you say goodbye to somebody, it could be the last time. And add in the fact, just through accidents or, people randomly die at different points. But with the health struggles my father has had over the last 5 years, it just, it was expected, but very sudden. He had been going downhill. I didn't think that it would have been this soon, but it was, and it happened. And happy that we had made the trip out this summer to see him, and got to see him one more time. But yeah, he had been in the VA hospital, he had been in rehab, he had been in a nursing home, and it was just time. So that really that call kind of sent things into a little bit of spiral. That was late in the evening on Monday. Nothing, no plans or anything going on at that point. Obviously, at 8:00 in the evening, not really knowing what's going on. So I still had my delivery coming the next day. So I had to focus on that. I told my mom and my sister we're going to be taking care of making arrangements with my dad. I said, I'm going to be off the grid for most of the day the next day, trying to put that lumber load away and coordinate all of that. I said, figure out what's going on. We'll regroup Tuesday afternoon and figure out getting out to New York and funeral plans and all of that stuff. Corey was kind enough to take the day off on Tuesday and come out and help me with the material load. So that came in on Tuesday. Went really, really smooth. We were really excited about that. He came in with a dock truck and an open dock truck with the little cart on the back, a little forklift on the back. He was able to bring everything right up to the site and get it pretty close to where we needed it to be undercover. And then Corey and I took a few hours and offloaded all of the stuff off of the skids that they brought it in and moved it undercover. Then we moved all the windows and doors inside the roof structure. So got that all taken care of. It was a lot of work, but it went by pretty quick. And I was very, 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 very thankful for having the help that I did. So that's exciting. Got that all buttoned up and got things kind of secured because we didn't know really when we were going to be back out, when the trip was, how our trip was going to go, when we were going to be able to get back to start working on the framing. So it was kind of bittersweet. We got our material order in that we had been waiting for quite a while. And then we were going to have to plan to go out of town immediately after that. So We did make it in before the rain, and then it rained quite heavily that night, and then a few days after. So we were happy to have that new shed or new soft-sided garage. I don't know really what to call it. It's that like plasticky canvas soft-sided garage tent that also went up pretty easy. But that was all buttoned up. Corey and I came home. We got a hold of my mom, and arrangements had kind of been made, or at least tentative arrangements enough to make travel plans. Let's see. So they had scheduled a calling hours / service. My father really wanted two things. My mom and him had talked about it before anything like this had happened, which is always wise. Definitely, folks. Even if you're not sick, even if you're not elderly, let the people in your life know what you want when you die. Things can get really hairy if you don't. But luckily, my father had talked to my mom and kind of let her know what he expected to happen when he passed, and he wanted a nice small military service. He wanted to have a military burial. He was going to end up buried in the National Military Hospital or National Military Cemetery that is right in the town I grew up in. So I grew up kind of visiting this place. I grew up putting flags at the headstones around Memorial Day, and things like that. So I was very familiar with where he was going to be buried. It's gorgeous, gorgeous place. And you can, I had posted some pictures over in the Telegram group of where he is. But Rewilder Life was wondering what branch he served in. He was in the Army during Vietnam. He was drafted, he was a field medic, spent, I think it ended up being 16 months in country in Vietnam. Lots of bullshit, for sure. Talked a little bit about that over the years with my dad. He really wasn't big on sharing a whole lot about it. But he was very, very proud to be a veteran. And that was a big thing. He wanted his veteran service. He wanted his veteran service. He wanted the veteran internment, and he wanted also an elk ceremony. So my dad was a member of the Elks Club for over 50 years. I believe he was initiated back in 1971, and spent quite a bit of time working with the Elks. He ended up being state vice president for New York, the New York state vice president of the Elks Club. He did all the different things that you can do throughout the organization. It was a big part of his life. It was a big part of my life, and I ended up being initiated into the Elks like directly after my 21st birthday. It was kind of that big in our world. So he wanted a small elk ceremony that they do for elks that pass, and so it really worked out to have a calling hours on Monday night, and then the internment and burial at the cemetery on Tuesday. So it gave us some time to make some arrangements to get up there from Tennessee. With traveling, we were gonna be traveling with the dogs again, and this time, looking at the weather, really, we decided that we needed to also figure out how to bring the cat with us. The cat would have probably been okay, but you never know. You never know. So we wanted to take her with us to avoid coming back to either a disaster of her just tearing up the whole inside of the camper, or worse. Who knows? So we went about trying to plan a trip with our two dogs, Corey and I, and the cat. We knew from the trip out this past summer that we really liked the Chrysler Pacifica for traveling with the dogs. It worked really well with the stow and go seats and everything. The cat seemed to travel really well when we'd go to the vet. Half an hour one way. So we were hoping that half an hour turned into 15 hours would go well too. talk about that in a second. But we went about looking for rental cars and a place to stay when we were out there. Couldn't really stay with my mom. My sister was going to stay at my mom's with her dogs and her kids, and we just didn't want to deal with that. So we were looking for an Airbnb in the area that allowed pets. Rental car, easy. Went on Enterprise and reserved a Chrysler Pacifica for the time we needed it. Booked it a day early to be able to get set up the night before and be ready to roll, because we drive through in one straight shot. So we like to leave at like 4 a.m, and it's about a 15-hour drive to get to my mom's house. So booked the car, found an Airbnb that was really nice. As we were looking at them, it was mostly Corey and I were looking at it. I went through and pre-selected about probably a half a dozen Airbnbs that were local enough to my mom and where we're going to have to be, and then had some of the amenities. I kind of sky high overview, and made sure they had pets or allowed pets, and the price was semi reasonable. Being in lake country, you never know. You could end up renting like a 14-bedroom house that's on a vineyard and pay out the ass. But anyway, I did some light searching, and then Corey and I go through them and pick them out. We were looking at them all, and really they were all in the 2,000 to 3,000 square foot range. Carpet, lake decor. Canadian Farmstead, good morning. Thanks for stopping in. Lake decor, really cottagey vacation rental, which you'd expect in that area. And Corey's like, I don't want to clean that much. I don't want to clean 3,000 square foot after we're there for a week with our dogs. It's bad enough just a day in the camper, let alone 3,000 square feet, 2,000 square feet. And so as we're looking at them, we found this one that was actually a little cabin in the woods. They hadn't had any Airbnb rentals. They allowed dogs. The whole thing was basically hardwood or wood, very, very little carpet, which is ideal for us. And it was a total of like 650 square feet, which we were ecstatic. Rewild Their Life says Corey and her think alike. Yeah, we were looking at the cleaning. Well, both of us really, because Airbnb, we were going to end up paying an extra pet fee and a cleaning fee or whatever. But we, with our dogs, with the amount of hair, with the slobber, with everything, we pre-clean before we leave our Airbnbs. We have to, but we try to make it look like when we walked in, even though we are quote unquote paying for a pet cleaning fee and another fee. We don't like to leave a mess. And as much as we want to clean, you can't really deep clean hours and hours before we take off. But anyway, making it as easy as possible. And the second benefit to this one was it's really close to the size of the cabin we're building right now. Our enclosed area is like 735 or 735 square feet or something like that. And this one was 650. So very close. It was a different floor layout, but just the size was comparable. So that gets all booked. We booked that one. It looked really isolated. It was kind of down a windy driveway on the back of 5 acres. Out in the farm country, up on the hills with the vineyards and things like that. It looked like it was going to suit our needs really, really ideally. And so we booked that, and so that got taken care of on Wednesday. We were scheduled to pick up the car on Friday, and our plans basically were travel on Saturday, calling hours on Monday night, funeral on Tuesday, and then we were going to get Wednesday to spend it there. I checked to make sure my mom was going to my sister's for Thanksgiving. Obviously, losing your husband of 49 years right before Thanksgiving, I wanted to make sure she had somebody to be with. And she did. She was going to go down and spend a few days with my sister. And so Corey and I decided to take Wednesday to kind of chill there, clean the place, and hang out with my buddy that we were going to get to see, and then travel back on Thanksgiving, and then come back. And our friends here in Tennessee, we're going to hold off and move our friends' Thanksgiving to Friday. So that was kind of the plan. It was it was going to be. It was a great plan. It was a great plan. And I'll tell you how everything went here in just a second. But I want to tell you, lost in the shuffle of all of this, I got an email from my Blockstream representative. And guys, if you've been waiting to buy a Blockstream Jade or Jade Plus, if you're looking to give one as a Christmas gift, which is a great gift for a Bitcoiner in your life, or some way, it's a great way to introduce someone to Bitcoin, buying them a hardware wallet, teaching them how to use it, showing them how to set it up, sending them some Bitcoin. This is a great valuable gift for anyone in your life. And Blockstream has their biggest sale of the year going on right now between November 21st and December 31st. All Blockstream Jades are 21% off. And Jade Plus. Jade and Jade Plus, 21% off. Now, the best part is you still get the 10% discount on the products. They stack the discount from my code. So the Lots Project at Blockstream, the Blockstream store, or you can roll down in the video description if you're on the podcast or the video and click the link. It should automatically get applied. But if it doesn't, the code is the Lots Project, the Lots, LOTS Project. We'll get you another 10% off, and I'll earn a commission on the sale, and that helps me too. So win-win-win. If you want to pick up a Blockstream Jade or Jade Plus for the holiday season for yourself or someone else, 21% off through the rest of the year. And then a bonus stack on top of that. I've been talking in the Telegram group lately, you know, the Bitcoin dip, the dip and kind of where it's been price wise has been very advantageous to buy the dip, quote unquote, buy the dip, or buy it while it's still low priced. But a lot of us have run dry on our reserve cash funds to buy Bitcoin, and we're trying to scramble to find any way to pick up Bitcoin at this lower price. One great way is Fold, and you can double down again with Blockstream and their discounts. And if you use your Fold card, if you don't use the Fold card, click the link down there. What it is a debit card that rewards you in Bitcoin back when you it rewards you in Bitcoin when you use the card. The best way to earn Bitcoin using the Fold card is to buy gift cards. And one of the companies that offer gift cards on the Fold card is Blockstream. And so you can get up to 10% back in Bitcoin. So you think about it, 21% off on the site, 10% off for my discount code. And then if you buy a gift card using your Fold debit card, you get another 10% back in Bitcoin. I think that's pretty damn good savings the end of the year here going into Christmas and a great reason to pick up some Jade or Jade Pluses. So check the links in the video description and the audio description. Find the Jade link, find the Fold link, get rolling on Bitcoin if you haven't started yet. And if you have, you understand how good of a deal this is, and I think you should take advantage. So that's that. That got sent out to me right. Let me see the date here that I got this email about it, and I was excited to promote it. I got the email right before the sale went live, and I didn't get a chance to use it. I got the email 2 days after my dad had passed, so had already gone into travel mode. I knew I wasn't doing the show on Monday, and it's just sat there. So excited to let you guys know about this sale. It's been going on now for a little over a week, and will go on through the end of the year. So check it out, Jade and Jade Plus, 21% off. So Canadian Farmstead says, how do you tell what's a dip at this point when the dipped? I would say anything under 100,000, 100% is a dip. Really, is anything under an all-time high a dip? I don't know. Get it. You buy Bitcoin at the price you deserve. Is that what the old folks say? But anyway, we're down to 85, 817. We're dropping like a rock during the show here. Oh, I gotta do my guess for next week. Next Monday, I think the Bitcoin price is going to be 97,977. We get my guess written up here. Let's do 97,979 is my guess for next Monday's Bitcoin price. If you want to jump in on the Bitcoin price guess game, head on over to the Telegram chat, and the post will be pinned after the show this morning. So we got our car rented, our car reserved, our Airbnb reserved. I sent a message to the Airbnb host and said, hey, you know, we're traveling for my father's funeral. We're trying to make arrangements. We're going to be bringing our 2 St. Bernards. Let them know that we paid an extra pet fee. And I said, you know, I didn't see anything on your listing about cats. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with my cat while we're gone. We got a relatively new kitten. We don't want to leave her. Is there any way we can bring her? And they were very accommodating. They said, you know, we don't normally allow cats, which it was their first rental. So I don't know what normally allow and normally don't allow. Maybe they have other rentals or whatnot. But if you keep it in a kennel or a cage of some sort while you're not there, while you're sleeping, so it doesn't tear up the furniture and things like that, you're welcome to bring it. Sorry for your loss. Sorry, you're going to be visiting under these circumstances. I was like, cool. This is all working out great. So Friday came. Corey and I were going to go pick up the rental car. We both had to go buy dress clothes because I didn't have any anymore, and B, they wouldn't have fit anyway. And so we went and we stopped at Enterprise at the time that we put in for our pickup. We walk in and the place was basically full of unhappy people. As we stood there, as we were dealing with what we're about to deal with, we kind of realized that everybody there was kind of in the same boat as us. And it's really unfortunate. We walked up to the counter and said, you know, here, I'm here to pick up the car I rented, a Chrysler Pacifica minivan. 7-passenger minivan or similar is what I reserved. And the guy's like, well, we don't have a van. We don't have a minivan. The person that was supposed to bring it back hasn't brought it back yet. They're 2 hours late. And I'm like, this just really wasn't the right trip to I don't want to say pull this on me or lay this on me, I guess. He said they haven't returned it, and I'm sitting there trying to understand why they're flipping cars that quick. Why there's 3 other customers in the waiting room that aren't getting the car that they need, that they reserved. One couple had been there for a couple of hours. Another couple was renting a 15 had reserved a 15 passenger cargo van. And they were asking them, well, would a 12 passenger work? Because we really don't have 15 passenger. And we had reserved a minivan because that's what was going to work for us. We had used it. It was ideal. It had a low clearance to the ground so the dogs could step up into it easily. All the seats folded down, so the whole back was flat, and they had a lot of room to move around and get situated and lay down. And they're telling me they don't have what I reserved. And that was my biggest issue was I took the time to go on your site, use your system to reserve the car that I needed. And you said, okay, let me reserve it. And when I show up, you say you don't have it. And it wasn't a one-off thing, obviously. And come to find out when we returned the car, there was a whole room full of people doing the same thing. Their excuses were basically, they don't check our inventory when you reserve a car on the enterprise site. That's national enterprise. We're local, and basically they'll reserve whatever, and then it's up to us to figure it out. And I'm like, your internal company bullshit isn't really my fucking problem. I mean, it is, because I don't get my car, but what a horrible, shitty business model. And so I was tearing into this guy pretty good. I was upset. I didn't know what we were going to do. We needed to leave the next day. I needed to take my dogs. I have really big dogs, and I didn't have room to bring a ramp to get them into a high-sitting car, blah, 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 like all this shit. And he's like, well, we can offer you a Wagoneer, a Jeep Wagoneer, which is big, but the seats don't stow and go. They fold down to kind of flat, but it isn't flat like what we wanted. It sits way off the ground. It has this really awkward running board kind of step that's not very useful at all. We went out and looked at it, and Corey and I kind of went back and forth, and we were like, well, if this is our option, we can make it work, but I really, really don't want to. Otherwise, I would have reserved a Wagoneer. And so we go back in, we tell the guy, I guess it'll work. Let's figure it out. Let's get it. And so we go out, we're like looking at it. We're doing the inspection to make sure that there's no damage, blah, 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 and all that. And then we're looking at the contract on his little tablet there, and he's going over the whole thing. I'm initialing stuff, and we're almost done. And he gets to the price, and he puts his hand on my shoulder, and he goes, and I'm going to do you a favor and only charge you for the minivan, even though this vehicle is $180 a day, and the van is only $70 a day. And I had calmed down enough that we were going to get through this. And then the fucking asshole had the audacity to tell me he was doing me a fucking favor. And I didn't do very well with that. I had a slight issue with him now telling me he was going to do me a favor. I had a few choice words for him. I had I told him, I expressed my anger. Canadian Farm says, oh, what a nice dude, offering the price you were supposed to get. I would have rather had the price I was supposed to get and the vehicle I was supposed to get. I didn't even want the better vehicle. Better, in air quotes, more expensive vehicle. The vehicle is a piece of shit. It ran well, but I'll tell you about that vehicle in a second. So I kind of started losing my mind on the guy again. He basically told me that I've been being rude, and Corey's sweet. Of course, that's my wife. My wife is the sweetest person in the world. Yin and yang, And so when he told me that, they get to choose who they rent their cars to, I kind of stepped away again and let Corey finish the deal to make sure we at least got some car. But I really wasn't happy. Corey told me after that she was pretty sure he was going to cry. I don't like to make people cry, but in some situations, it's deserved. I get that the guy I get that the guy had no control, that the vehicle wasn't there, that he was trying to rectify the situation. But it was a bridge too far when he told me he was doing me a favor by only charging me for the vehicle that I wanted. So we rented the vehicle, we got the vehicle, not the vehicle we wanted. This thing is I don't know if anybody listening owns one of these fucking things, the Jeep Wagoneer. What a non-functional piece of shit of a vehicle. It's the it sits really high. So here's the nuts and bolts of this vehicle. I'm not even going to go into all the computers and the huge screen and all the shit that's on every new vehicle. Canadian Farmstead says, you need to carry around copies of the Daily Stoic to hand out to people you interact with. Maybe because it's working so well for me. Is that why I should hand it out? Here, a first-hand recommendation. I read it. If you want to be as angry as me, you should read it too. Actually, I'm getting back to that after this whole trip. Lots of changes on my horizon from this trip, but Free Wilder Life says there's a reason we'll never own a Jeep. Yeah. So besides the fact that everything's fucking computerized, that's just across the board with any vehicles now. This Jeep, it sits super high. Not quite as high as our F-250, but high enough where I can't just sit into the seat. I got to kind of step up into it. I got to step down out of it. But they have this really freaking useless running board step thing that is basically 3/4 of the way under the lip of the door. So it's not really a step. It's just in the fucking way. Hey, good morning, Mike Homestead. He says I could explain to them that the Daily Stoic is the only reason they're still alive. I mean, yeah, I guess if they had seen it before and after. I've come so far. I'm just not quite there yet. But basically, this little step, for me as a human, I couldn't. It was more of a tripping hazard than anything on the way in because your toe could barely get onto it to step up into the vehicle. It was in an awkward mid-range, and when I got out of the vehicle, all I did was hit my fucking calf on it. Because as you're getting out of the vehicle, your heel is not going to hit it, and you can't see it. And so as you're getting out of the vehicle, all you do is bang your leg on it, and it's just awkward. The dogs had a really hard time with it, both on the way in and out. The back seat, basically, if you're using, so there was 2 rows of seats in the back. And if you're using the second row, the back row, I guess it'd be the third row, the furthest back row, and you have to literally crawl over the seats in the front. So you can put them down, but there's no, like, in the old minivans and stuff like that, there would be like an aisle you could actually walk, and you had to kind of scoot around and duck down, but you could walk to the seats in the back. You literally had to fucking crawl over the seats. So I'm thinking, if my mom ever had to sit in the back, I had a tough time crawling back there. If my mom ever had to sit in the back, there was no way that it was ever going to happen. Wilder Life says, I've ended up on my back with those damn side rails. I could imagine it wouldn't work out well if it had been slippery or anything like that. It was horrible. Then they cost us a shitload more gas, and it was just, I will never own a Jeep Wagoneer. 100% never own a Jeep Wagoneer. But the car ran. It got us there. It got us back. It was just really hard to use. Luckily, we only had to get the dogs in and out maybe once. I think we did once on each trip. They're big enough, and they can hold their bladder and their poop long enough to make it halfway. So we got him in when we left, we got him out and in one stop, and got him out when we got there, and then mirrored that on the way back. So in and out was limited into the vehicle, and so we kind of made it work. It was okay. I wasn't really thrilled about it. I was expecting Norman to hurt himself. We had to help lift them in. Basically, they could crawl up with their front feet, and we had to lift their ass and help them into the vehicle because they couldn't figure out how to climb up this mountain of fucking railings and shit on the side. So that was that. The rental car was just an absolute piece of shit. The whole process. So I'm trying to figure out. I think we're gonna end up going back this summer to see my mom and do some stuff. And so I'm trying to figure out how to work with Enterprise to get the car we wanted. They said it's all corporate's fault because they take reservations and they don't check with them. So I'm wondering if I call the local branch and try to reserve the vehicle directly through them, if I'll be able to get the vehicle I want. But I don't know. I've looked, and it doesn't seem to be Enterprise specific. It seems like every rental car agency that I search and look about this issue is the same. It just looks the same. So that was I'm just over renting cars, but I can't take my truck. I mean, I suppose I could take my truck all the way up there, but it doesn't make sense. It's cheaper to rent one than deal with that. So there is that. Like I said earlier, when Corey returned it, I let Corey return it. I didn't want to go in. And I forgot about the whole card issue. They wouldn't let me use my card, but it was the same card I used the rental before this past summer, and they couldn't figure out how in the world it was ever used. But there must have been a way, because they could see it in my account that I had used it. Something to do with Visa versus debit versus credit versus I was like, really? On top of not having our vehicle. So basically, Enterprise was a big 0 rating for the trip. The Airbnb was fantastic. It was refreshing to be out of the camper and into something. I want to say spacious. It was 650 square feet. It was perfect. It really was. We stayed there. It was like I said, at the end of a Canadian Farm says that Bitcoin fixes that. No shit. Bitcoin and smart contracts, because all they wanted was a deposit, and I was like, it was a long story. I'm not even going to worry about it anymore. But the cabin, we checked in, we stayed there, and basically it made me realize we need to get into our cabin and get it built. It was so nice to be able to walk around inside, comparing it to the camper with the dogs, with everything. And it was just refreshing to be there, let me tell you. And so it lit a fire for sure to get working on the cabin, to get that finished, to get moved in there. It was really nice to stay there. The whole trip went fine. Got to see my son. He came up for his grandpa's funeral. Service was really nice. Calling hours were for like an hour on Monday night, and I don't think the line of people stopped from half an hour before it was supposed to start till the end. We had a great showing for his elk service that night. He had the Patriot Guard riders stood watch over the front door of the funeral home, and then also did a nice little military presentation at the end of the calling hours. Presented my mom with a plaque with all my dad's service record and things like that on it. Elk service was their standard funeral service, and it's really cool. I don't know how many people have actually seen it. because it had to be an Elks member to if you happen to attend one. But it's a nice service, and there were a lot of his brethren that wanted to participate, so they made some adjustments to the ceremony and allowed a lot of extra people to participate in the ceremony. So that went well. My mom actually did really well. I was glad to see that she's doing better than I had expected. I think that she probably started dealing with this a lot sooner than or had been dealing with it for quite a while, so that was good. The internment at the cemetery was really nice. He had taps played, and the gunshots. I have the shell casing. It's slipping me what it's called. But then we were able to go back on Wednesday and see where he was going to be located in the cemetery. It's if you've ever been to a military cemetery, a national military cemetery, it's all white headstones, and it's rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of white headstones beyond where you can see. Once a person is buried there and they replace the sod and get the headstone in, it is very, very, very difficult to find headstones. So we wanted to go out where the grave was still fresh, that he was in a new section, so we could kind of get our bearings with a reference point. And so we went out, and my mom happened to be stopping at the same time. We got to spend a little bit more time with her. We got familiar with where he is in the cemetery, got some reference points on some some drain hole covers and some different stuff, to where when we go back there this summer and his headstone is in place and the sod is all grown back in, we'll at least know the general area where he's at. We have his headstone number, and we have the section, but basically the map gets you to the section, and then you have to find the number. So being familiar with the cemetery, I knew it was a good idea to get up there and get kind of a perspective of where he's at. And then while we were there, Corey and I got some really nice videos and pictures of the whole cemetery there in Bath, the Bath National Veteran Cemetery. So been around since the mid 1800s. It was actually around before that, but it became a national cemetery in the mid 1800s. So lots and lots of graves there, tens of thousands actually. Rewilder Life says we're still testing to figure out what to do with the shells from my hubby's dad's. And Hunter says I got jumped on at the airport for having a spent casing in my bag. That's my son was actually caught that. He was flying back to Florida and he had been given one of the casings, and beyond me, I wouldn't have ever thought of it. He asked his grandma to mail it to him after he got home, because he wasn't sure he could take it on the plane with him, and good for him, because saved him some hassle on his way back to Florida. So it was good. It was a good trip. The drive home went well, pretty smooth, and the returning of the car went well. One other thing that happened, kind of eye-opening, I guess, was when we went over to Kohl's to buy our dress clothes. When did dress clothes get so expensive? Holy shit. Corey and I picked up a suit, like a piecemeal suit, and a pair of jeans. And Corey picked up a couple of like a little dress and a skirt, and she was going to wear some of her clothes that she already had. And man, it was like $600, and I was like, holy shit. Dress clothes got expensive in the last I don't know when the last time I bought dress clothes was. Maybe my wedding, my sister's wedding, maybe 10 years ago. So yeah, dress clothes are way more expensive. And two, there's no, there's mirrors in our camper. There's mirrors in our camper. The lighting in our camper sucks. The mirrors where they're located, you really, I don't have a mirror that I look in that I get to see my full self ever, really. And so when I was at Kohl's and I went in to try on the suit, when I went in to try on my suit, I got undressed in the dressing room and was shocked what I looked like weight wise. I knew I was a little overweight that I wanted to be. That's always been the case my whole life. But holy shit, guys. Not happy. I think I came out of the dressing room and I said something immediately to Corey, like, holy crap. It was an eye opener. One of those moments where maybe I was ignoring things. Maybe it was just out of sight, out of mind, literally. But I need to take care of that. I really realized on the trip, I did a lot of soul searching. Death kind of makes you think a lot, and you can utilize death in a lot of different ways. And I think I utilized it. What I would think is the proper way is to evaluate things in my own life and think about ways to improve, ways to, when I am the one in the box, that I don't regret anything, that I don't wish I had started getting in shape a little sooner. I don't wish that I had attempted to do this, that, or the other thing. That I do what I feel is making in the best choices for Corey and I, to improve our life, whether it's done today or done 40 years from now or anywhere in between. So I did a lot of thinking on those 15-hour drives, especially after seeing my fat ass in the mirror in the dressing room, hearing my mom talk about my dad and things that concerned him towards the end of his life, regrets and things he was happy about, and different things like that really make you think. And so hopefully with a new perspective on, I don't want to say a new perspective on life, but after a lot of goods and bads and a lot of thinking and being spurred by staying in the cabin, I hopefully have come back with a new perspective, a new motivation, a new drive to come up with a way to be better for myself, and not for anybody else, just for myself. So it was a positive experience. Sad, obviously, but like I said at the beginning, this was expected at some point. Obviously, everybody's going to die. My father hadn't been in the best health over 5-10 years, really. So it was coming, and having been so far apart, I had dealt with the loss already multiple times. It doesn't take the sting away, but it makes it more tolerable, I think. So there have been moments since he passed that you have those moments where there was a routine. I mean, really, one example is around the Buffalo Bills, and was his favorite football team, was my favorite football team growing up. The day after, so he died on a Monday. They played on Thursday night, and they played like shit, and they lost. And first thing Friday morning, I went to text my dad, about the game and realized I couldn't. And so that was rough. I didn't see him very often, but I did text message him quite a bit, and we talked on the phone every now and then. There were just those hiccup moments kind of since then, and I'm sure they will continue over the years, but we had a complex relationship. Let's just put it like that. And I'll miss him. But he's not suffering anymore. So it is what it is. So I was glad I got to go out to participate in the funeral and the burial and see my family, see my sister and my nieces and nephews and my mom. I got to see my friend that was my best friend. And the best man in my wedding. Hadn't seen him since our wedding, so almost a decade, and got to hang out with him quite a bit. And yeah, it was a good trip. So we're back now and trying to figure out the road back to the cabin, but I have material back there, so if anything, I can start walking back and getting a little bit of work done here and there. And get that framed out, get the windows in, and get rolling and get moved out there sooner rather than later. So anyway, didn't really do a whole lot of planning for the show. I've been kind of we got back on Thursday, spent Friday doing some stuff. Saturday, Sunday we're busy, and getting back into it this week. So hopefully next week I'll have a bunch of new stuff and a lot of new information for you guys. Like I said earlier in the show, block stream, Jade and Jade Plus, 21% off. Add on another 10% for my discount code, and if you buy it on Fold, get 10% back in Bitcoin for buying a gift card over there. So, guys, it's been about an hour. We're hitting 7:00, so I hope you all have a great week. Come over and check us out in the Telegram group. Make a Bitcoin price guess for next Monday, or just hang out and enjoy the crowd over there. Great group of people, and I enjoy hanging out with them on a daily basis. So other than that, thanks for listening. If you could give it a like, give it a share with someone you think would like listening to the show. And then we will catch up with you again next Monday.